Yes, good morning. Welcome back to Football Heritage TV. It is Monday, and this marks a nice week for Tottenham. A return. Let's get some more light in there. Oh, look, let's get some light in. This marks a return to Champions League football for Tottenham Hotspur. We've not been in it for a few years, but we are back into the Champions League with Thomas, Frank, and the lads starting tomorrow night, Tuesday night, against Villarreal at, I'm always going to do it, White Hart Lane. I'm always going to call it that. And listen, the games are going to come thick and fast this season, just like last year with the Europa League. This year, no different. With the Champions League, the games are going to come thick and fast. And, oh God, look, that's really bright now. That just got really bright. And it's going to be very, very interesting to see, what do Tottenham Hotspur do? How do they attack the Champions League? How do they navigate their way out of the it's the second season, right, of the league phase of the Champions League? Before we get going, to our sponsors, big up to our sponsors. You've got that way, okjersey.com. Either go onto the website, if not, scan the QR code for some fantastic replica football shirts. They're roughly £15 each. And you get an 8% discount at checkout if you put in the discount code, Savva, S-A-V-V-A, two V's. You can't put in one V, two V's. So really good quality replica shirts. I've got loads here, by the way. Quality replica shirts. I might wear this one tomorrow night for the Champions League game. So they've got training kits. They've got the kits. They've got coats, they've got all sorts. So get over there. And also Match Bingo. If anyone hasn't played Match Bingo, I was one Barcelona goal away yesterday from winning 200 quid. One Barcelona goal away. And they didn't get one more by half time quick enough. Otherwise, I would have had 200 quid. But it's good fun. So you play your Match Bingo, scan the QR code, it takes you to the app. And when you're in the app, if you deposit, I think it's a minimum of a £5, £5. If you put in the code FHTV, they will give you a 200% increase on whatever money you put in, and it's good fun for match days. So where are we? Please get over to those two. Let me know if you do, so that I can let the sponsors know how much you guys like what they do. Champions League, it's back thick and fast. Villarreal at home. Always an interesting one. I always find it interesting playing Spanish teams, because Spanish teams are normally very good on the ball, normally quite comfortable in possession. They're not as intense as Premier League teams, but I always think that technically they're a little bit superior. Doesn't mean Villarreal will be. I'm just saying in general with Spanish football. And normally quite organised at the back, Spanish teams. Normally very, very organised at the back. So it's going to be a very interesting game. Also, you've got to add into the mix as well. Solomon has just gone out there, hasn't he? Solomon has gone on loan to Villarreal. So that's going to be an interesting anecdote for tomorrow's game. He didn't get on at the weekend. Villarreal lost 2-0 to Real Madrid, wasn't it? They lost 2-0. I think Real Madrid had 10 men for like an hour or something. But listen, it won't be an easy game. Hopefully we make it easy, but Champions League, these games are going to be tough. These games are going to be really difficult. And what I do know is this: you've got to start with a bang. You've got to be able to get your first game at home against a team we would be fancied to beat. And we've got to get the 3 points. I think you've got to give yourself the best possible chance by winning your home games. Was it Atletico? Sorry, Atletico. Sorry. I don't know why I'm thinking of Real. Sorry. Yeah. 2-0 Atletico. Sorry. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for that. So much football swirling around in my brain at all times that I can't remember everything. But I'm very much looking forward to it. I'm very much looking forward to seeing, how does Frank approach this? You know, we had the game against West Ham where a lot of people raised some eyebrows, didn't they, with regards to his team selection, but it paid off. We won 3-0. And now he's probably going to get more eyebrows raised at this selection, because whatever 11 he picks, some people are going to love it. Some people aren't. And unfortunately, that is the way the cookie crumbles. Whatever he does tomorrow, some people will be happy. Whichever striker he picks, whichever left winger he picks, whoever he puts in the 10, whatever the two centre mids are. I think the rest kind of picks itself, right? I think the back four and Kudus, I think pretty much pick themselves. The rest of it, for me, is open to interpretations to the individual football fan. Bear with me. Got to have a cup of tea in my Mr. Right mug. There we go. And big up to my man, Jim Bird Coys, who I'm pretty sure was one of my first ever viewers. Big up to you, Jim. I said, bought the Spurs away top from OK Jersey. Thanks for the 8% discount. Listen, more than welcome. I'm glad that well, let me know if it's arrived, but I'm glad that you've done that. They are some good quality shirts. I'm fully enjoying mine. As I said, this is an interesting one. So I got this one. I believe this is probably one of the training tops, right? So I got this one, which we haven't worn yet. You can see, the tag's still on that. We got this one as well. I'm not sure I like this one, but not the quality. I mean, like the kit. I don't actually know if I like the kit. We got that one. I always think this looks a little bit like a beach towel. We got this one, which is a really interesting kit. I don't believe this was ever released. This is the one with the snake. Like the snake going up through the middle. So that's an interesting one as well. And also I got the black one, the white one, and the very dark blue one as well. So really good replica kits for anybody that wants them. I appreciate that kits are very expensive if you go through the official channels, but hey, let me know if you do buy them and let me know what you think of the quality. I think they're really, really good. And the customer service that you get from them is very good as well. Anyway, what was I going to say? I can't even remember how I got onto that. But, oh yeah, because we were Jim's chat. But yeah, we're going to be playing a Villarreal team that will probably play a 4-4-2. Let's have a look at Villarreal, shall we? Let's see if I can get them up on the on transfer market. Let's have a look at the Villarreal setup. Oh, I've got a 403 forbidden. What's that all about? Why am I forbidden? Forbidden. What's going on there? Hang on 1 second. This site can't be reached. Okay. Let's try that again. That's Sofa score. I don't want. Yeah, let's try that. Let's go there. Villarreal. Here we go. Sorry, I don't know what happened there. Villarreal. I don't want the Villarreal under 19s. Why is it giving me Villa? Hang on. What's going on here? There we go. God knows why it wasn't giving me Villarreal. Let's have a look at their last game, shall we? So Villarreal, let's have a look at how they set up in their last game. Here we go. We've got some interesting players playing for Villarreal. Let me bring this up on screen. 1 second. Here we go. Let's go Madrid versus Villarreal. There we go. I'll probably have to move. No, there we go. So you can see that Villarreal, they've got players like 1/4, ex-Spurs player, right? 1/4. Nicolas Pepe, ex-Arsenal. Thomas Partey, ex-Arsenal. Renato Vega, ex-Chelsea. They've got Danny Pereiro, who's been around for a long time. And then they've got Mikatadze, who lots of Spurs fans wanted, didn't they? Mikatadze. Then if we go down to their bench, we can see that they've got people like Ayoze Perez, who used to play for Newcastle, if everyone remembers him. They've also got, where are we? Manos Solomon, as we talked about, Manos Solomon as well. So this is going to be a very, very interesting matchup. Let me make that a tiny bit smaller. It's massive, isn't it? There we go. I can get everybody onto the screen there. This is going to be a very interesting matchup. They're showing that in this particular game, they played a 4-4-2. Let's go and have a look at some of their previous games just to double check that this is what they do. The game before that, they played Celta Vigo. You can see again, they had some different players playing in this game. But again, the 4-4-2, according to SofaScore. I can't say that I watched them religiously. Let's go back and let's double check the game before that just to see if we've got some consistency. Before that, they beat Girona 5-0 with Tajon Buchanan, who's very much thought about. A good player. There you go. You see on the right wing, he's one we've definitely got to watch out for. So again, you can see that it very much looks like they're going with a 4-4-2 in most games. Now, I find that quite interesting because there's not many games. There's not many games in the Premier League where you're up against a 4-4-2. You've normally got the 4-2-3-1 or the 4-3-3 or 4-3-1-2, whatever it may be. But it's not often. It's not often that you come up against a 4-4-2, is it? So this is going to be very, very interesting. You've got ex-Spurs players, ex-Arsenal players, ex-Chelsea players. So you've got some Premier League experience in there. But what I will say is, looking at that team, I do think that Tottenham should be winning. Let me know in the chat, is there anyone that watches Villarreal a lot? Is there anybody that is a listen, I try and watch as much Spanish football as I can, but since I've done more YouTube, it's very difficult to watch all the games when you're streaming. But let me know what you think about Villarreal. Buchanan is somebody I've seen quite a bit of. I think he's a really good player. I think he's a really good footballer. I think Danny Parejo has been around on the scene for a long time. Nicolas Pepe didn't have the greatest spell at Arsenal, but we know he's got ability. Ayoze Perez is lively. It's going to be interesting, but this is a good comment. Cam Shanks saying 4-4-2 is really defensively hard to break down. Now, of course, 4-4-2, it's one of those formations that's kind of gone out of fashion. I don't doubt that at some point it will come back into fashion, but it's one of those formations where everybody knows their job, right? There's none of this a 6 and an 8 and a 10. You've got 2 centre mids, 2 centre backs, you've got wingers and 2 fullbacks, right? The only difference with the 4-4-2 now is normally one of the centre forwards drops back in to kind of make it a little bit more difficult for when they're playing against a 3-man midfield. But, as it stands, we kind of know what the 4-4-2 is all about. Having said that, I'd be very disappointed if we didn't win that game. However, you've got to remember, this is Thomas Frank's first game in the Champions League. And, some of our players won't have played Champions League football before. So this is going to be very, very interesting to see. Let's have a look. If you want to, someone's asked me about Villarreal's defensive record. Let's have a look at it this season and last season, shall we? So this season, Villarreal conceded 3 goals in 4 league games. If we have a look at last season, Villarreal conceded 51 goals in 38 games, which, just to give you a bit of an idea, compared to the other teams in that league, it was good for the teams in the top half. In 5th down, which is where Villarreal finished. But above them, Bilbao only conceded 29. Atletico Madrid 30. And then Real Madrid and Barcelona were 39 and 38. So it's not the worst defense. I mean, it wasn't like our defense last season, but looks like they're okay at the back. Players like Juan Foyth, looks like they're okay at the back. Let's see. Let's see what happens when we play them tomorrow night. But I want to know from you guys, how excited are you lot? And I'll get to some of your comments in a minute. But, ghosted. Honestly, guys and girls, I feel like I've offended a lot of people. The likes and subscribers lately have been absolutely abysmal. We're actually going backwards. Guys, not one subscriber today. Not one subscriber. And we've only had, this is really, really poor. We've only had 59 likes, which is 1/6 of you. 1/6. Come on, smash that button. It's for a YouTuber, it's really hard streaming just after the transfer window shuts because not as many people watch. So we do kind of need as much of your support as possible. So there's my little question to you lot. Please do show the support. Let's have a look. Let's see what people are saying. Yeah, Ronnie has said Buchanan is a good player. He is. I like him. Is it Tajon Buchanan? Yeah, good player whenever I've seen him play. Marios Said, hey, Savva, I miss you, mate. Military cooked me, to be fair. Fair play to you, mate. Going into the Cypriot military, like most 18-year-olds have to do over there. So fair play to you, my man. Good to see you in the chat. Internet Vegetable said, I remember Iosi Perez. He always used to score against us for some reason. Yeah, listen, Iosi Perez, he was decent. He was, diminutive, quick, got in the right areas. Not the greatest player, but he did a job, right? By the way, anybody going to okjersey.com, yeah, if you consider yourself to be a medium, order a large. If you consider yourself to be a large, order an extra large. No one will judge you. It's just the way the shirts fit. Big up, Philly. How you doing, bro? I have seen your WhatsApp, so I will come back to you later, my man. Sorry, it's been a very busy morning. I said I've seen Villarreal, Tajon Buchanan. Yeah, listen, he's a good player, is Buchanan. He really is. Doesn't mean he'll be exceptional tomorrow, because what normally happens is you say, oh, he's a good player. And then if he doesn't have a good game, people go, oh, you said he was good. We had this with Patrick Berg for Bodo Glimt. People go, oh, he did nothing. You said he was the danger man. It's like, well, he is. Just doesn't mean he's going to be brilliant every game. Anton said Villarreal can't be taken lightly, especially as we don't have an out-and-out striker. Well, we might do tomorrow. Richarlison or Mawani could start tomorrow. Matisse Tell is not available, obviously because of not being selected for the Champions League matchday squads. So, look, we'll see. I think Richarlison will probably start. Depends how fit is Mawani. Maybe both start. Maybe one goes on the left, one goes up front. We'll see. We'll talk about team selection a little bit. Riser, so Villarreal could be a dark horse this season. For what? For the Champions League? I'm not so sure that they will be, if I'm brutally honest, mate. I think they're a decent team. I can't imagine there'll be a dark horse for anything. Let's get James Flower on, shall we? Let's get James Flower on, and we can talk to him about all things football. There we go. I like James. He does make me laugh. We'll talk about all things football. Lord Rodney Trotter said they score a lot against the big boys in Spain, but they are very leaky. Well, look, 51 goals conceded tells you can get at them. Definitely. Absolutely. Tells you that they can be got at, but we've got to make sure we get at them. And this is where you want to see your Kuduses, your Xavi Simons, your Mawanis, right? This is where I want to see them step up to the plate. Majid said, I watched them against Atletico. They weren't good. Yeah, listen, I think it's the same with anything, right? If you only watch a team once, I'm not saying you have, but listen, teams aren't going to be good all the time. Carl said, realistically, Savva, we should be winning all of our Champions League games apart from PSG and maybe Dortmund. Yeah, I like that theory. I just don't think in reality it's that simple. I'd love to think that we win 6 out of the 8 games, right? 6 wins out of 8 will see Spurs qualify. I'd love to see that. I just don't know if it's that easy to just rock up and win 6 or 7 of your Champions League games. Players are going to be injured. There'll be players tired. There'll be games where we just don't play well. All of these different things. But the main thing is, by hook or crook, you've got to get through. Now, you'd love to get through, wouldn't you, in the top 8? That would be where you really want to be. After that, what is it? If I'm not wrong, it's the 16 teams behind that. If I'm not wrong, 8. Yeah, if I'm not wrong, isn't that the way it works? 8 go through, and then hang on. Let's have a look. Shall we bring that table up? Let's bring up Champions League table. Champions League table 25-26. That's the season we're in, aren't we? Okay, let's have a look. Let's have a look on UEFA.com. Yep, I do accept all. League phase. So let me just double check this. Before match day 1. Oh, I wish it would give me the rules. I'm pretty sure, isn't it? The top 8. No, that's the. Oh, come on, UEFA. That's really poor. Live Champions League table. Here you go. Sky Sports. Let's see what they've got going on. Why is it so difficult? There we go. Okay, right. Yes. So it is the top 8 go through automatically. Then 9th to 24th place will play each other in a 2-legged game, right? to go through. And then that 8 that win will join the 8 that went through. And then you've got your 16 for your knockout stage, if that's right. So then the bottom 12 go out. If that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The bottom 12 will go out. So let's bring that up and show you on screen. There we go. So at the moment, Spurs are in the bottom 3, just purely because of alphabetical order. Let's have a look at this. Percy's just said to me he's a big Villarreal a La Liga fan. I said Villarreal will be organised against us, but there should be no reason we can't break them down. Don't overlook Parejo, very wise player who will organise them well. Malero is a great little winger. There you go. It's Percy giving you a little bit of insight. Let's have a look at, let's share my screen. Here we go. Let's have a look at the Champions League table. This is from Sky Sports. So you can see the Champions League table. Let's blow that up a little bit, shall we? That's a bit small. There we go. So you can see there that obviously at the moment it's all done in alphabetical order. You can see the line is cut off for the top 8. So the top 8 will go through. Then I believe that the way it works is, for example, 9th place, which in this instance would be Bodo Glimt. I believe that they would play 24th place, Napoli over 2 games. Is that right? And then I think 23rd will play 10th and 11th will play 22nd, etc., etc., etc. And then those 8 teams that win will go through. Unfortunately, Tottenham, there we are. We're in the bottom 3. We're in the bottom 3 due to alphabetical order. So that's how that works. But look, I think what you've got to take heart from last year is, I mean, look at PSG. Do you remember the Champions League table last year? PSG, if I'm not wrong, were really bad in the league phase and scraped through. They scraped through, didn't they? And then looked brilliant. So for me, I don't think it's about you've got to do enough to qualify, but I don't think it's necessarily about how you start. I think a lot of it is going to be based on how you finish when you get into the knockout stages. So when people are saying, how far do I think we'll go? I mean, it's like that. Look, I would expect us to get through. I would expect us to get through out of the league phase, but then it's the lottery of the draw, isn't it? You know, if we get through to that stage and then suddenly you're playing Barcelona over 2 legs, I'm sorry, Spurs fans, I fully expect Barcelona will knock us out. I'm not being horrible. I'm not being negative, but it's bloody Barcelona. Same with the Real Madrids, Bayern Munich's, you know, PSG's. However, you might get through and you get a decent tie, and all of a sudden you're going, all right, we're in the quarterfinals. So it's always going to be very very difficult. Savva, you're toxic and negative and all that. I'm very toxic. I really, really am. I saw a video yesterday as well. People saying that people like me buy subscribers. I found this very funny, this video. You got a guy sitting in there telling people that YouTubers like me buy subscribers. I did watch this video and go, this is somebody, unfortunately, I'm not having a go at them, unfortunately, who doesn't know what they're talking about and trying to pass themselves off as knowledgeable on the subject. I know for a fact they've been buying subscribers. Okay, whatever. I can assure you, I would never do that. That's just not the way I work. I've grown organically. I just thought I'd get that out there. James, I've sent you the link. Brother. So you're more than welcome to come on. Good morning to the Red Devil Raider. Good morning to you. How you doing? Hope you're well. Hope you are well. Red Devil Raider, tell these lot to smash the like button. 120 likes. And we've had 1 new subscriber today. So thank you to the new subscriber. Always nice to have a new subscriber. Always nice. By the way, today, just to let you know, got this show that will probably go on until about 12 p.m. 2:30 to 3:30. Charlie Patrick and myself, Charlie from Blue Brother CFC. We are going to do a Premier League review, just rounding up all of the Premier League games over the weekend for an hour. And then at 6 p.m., Perchy and I will have the What Are We Doing Here podcast. Always nice. We just have a laugh, have a bit of a chat. You're all welcome. Then at 8 p.m. tonight, it is the Spurs 5, where we'll be looking in much more detail, not as relaxed as these shows. We'll be looking back at West Ham and looking forward to Villarreal and taking it from there. DMB forever. Big up to you, my man. How you doing? So big up, Savva. So good to have a manager that has attention to detail and approach to games, unlike his predecessor. Listen, Absolutely. We're gonna talk about this a little bit later on, because for me, I'm every time something doesn't go well, I get mocked of, oh, you said he's a coach. He is a coach, and he's a very good coach as well. And if anybody hasn't seen it yet, morning, James. If anybody hasn't seen it yet, I did put a post out on my community page today. It's a really good interview with Michael Carrick and Thomas Frank at the Spurs training ground, talking about all things coaching. Thomas Frank speaks so well. He's so diligent. He's so detail orientated, and he holds his hand up and says, we were terrible against Bournemouth, and he says, I got it wrong, and I have to learn from that. And I liked that. James, just before I bring you in, let me just quickly do these. Aris, big up to you, my man. How you doing out there in Australia? Has said, I am not that confident we will get through without a striker. Aris, we've got strikers. We've got strikers. You've got Richie, you've got Solanke, and you've got Kolo Muani and Matisse Tell. So you've got strikers at the football club. I'm not sure why people are saying that we don't have a striker. The quality of the strikers, now that's another conversation, but big up to you, my man. And also Emma over there, up there, should I say, on T-side. T-side. Big up to you, Emma. Really appreciate you always in here supporting. Thank you very much. James Flower with a nice little logo. Do you want to sponsor my channel as well, James? I can find a nice little slot for your logo somewhere. Fancy it?
Would be nice, mate. Yeah, it would be nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
How are we? You all right?
I'm good, mate. I'm really good. I'm really, really good. Yeah, I'm excited this week. I hate international weeks. I'll be honest. I as a kid, I used to love watching England, and then I feel like it's kind of lost its joy over the years. But anyway, we're back now. Are you excited about Champions League? You know, it's always under the lights, that Champions League music. You excited about it?
Yeah. To be honest, just sort of moving on from the England, I think absence makes the heart go fonder. And for me, when there was only 2 or 3 games a year, everyone was like, "You're watching England this time," because it's only happened 2-3 times a year, so everybody was on board. Now they're out every 2 months. There's 6 games every 2 months or whatever, and it's like, oh, I'm bored now. So that for me is the England. That's why I'm not that fond. But yeah, with Tottenham, I know a lot of people complain with the fixture lists, and obviously you don't. It's your career, but I just love watching Tottenham. But I just love watching Tottenham. Yeah, but I love watching Tottenham. So whether it's 2 or 3 games a week, the more the better. And even if it was like Europa League last year, a lot of people like criticize it, but as long as we're playing, I'm happy. And obviously, there is no better place to be than in the Champions League with the best of the best, and it'll be a real eye opener.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, isn't it? Because it's it just has that different feel to the Europa League. Obviously, we know it's the next stage up, but with the Europa League, I find it hard to get excited for the group games. I'll be honest. Like in the early stages, I find it really hard to, we've got Elfsborg. Do you know what I mean? Or, we're playing Karabag, and it's kind of like, we're going through the mill. Champions League, you've got to win. Like games like Villarreal, you've got to win. You've got to get those wins under your belt. So it's a big test tomorrow. Thomas Frank's first Champions League game. How do you think? How do you think he'll approach it? A lot of rotation, a lot of subs for you.
Yeah, it'd be interesting, to be honest. But again, with what you're saying, I think the reason that Europa League feels a bit like that is because you expect to win every game, if that makes sense. So when you're playing Elfsborg, you expect to win that game. So the excitement of, can we win? What's going to happen? It's all not there. It's like your Champions League. You make 1 or 2 mistakes, you lose that game. You can't do that. Mate, I'm so ecstatic to sort of not see Tell play. I know he's not in the squad. I'm excited for that. I think that is enough to get everybody off their feet. Like, he ain't in the squad. That's great news.
Do you know what? Do you know how many comments I've had in the last, 48 hours since we played West Ham, roughly, whatever it is. The number of people going, Sav, you're too harsh on Tell. There's a player in there. He'll come good. You don't know what a player looks like. And my response to all of these people is always the same thing, James. What have you seen that I've not. What is it that you're seeing that makes you say he's going to be a good player? Because the answers I get are things like, you would have written off Bale. And I'm like, hang on. No, let's not everything needs to bounce back to Gareth Bale or Harry Kane. Do you know what I mean? Oh, you would have written off Bale. Well, I saw Bale at Southampton before we signed him and went, yeah, you can play. I've never looked at Tell and gone, you can play. Do you know what I mean? So what do you make of the whole Tell situation?
For me, I mean, this is my opinion. It's completely different to everybody else. The first sign for me of a good player is somebody that wants the ball all the time. So, for example, the weekend, he didn't get the ball. Okay, well, drop deep and come and get the ball. Just have a couple of touches here or there and then move on. Or be in the box the whole time, kind of causing a nuisance. For me, I mean, there was something that was said with Matty K in a chat, and he said, what's he done wrong? I was like, the point is, he's done nothing.
Yeah.
There's not that he's done anything wrong. He's done nothing. So, whether that's coming short for the ball, staying in the box, trying to be a nuisance, he does nothing. Is there any difference to him and Brennan Johnson other than the goals? For me, no. He runs in circles a lot, but if it's not calculated and then there's no precision to it or precise, then it's pointless. For me, I haven't seen anything. And I know people go, yeah, but look at under 21s. Well, Dane Scarlett looks like Lionel Messi in under 21s, but he's just not good enough. He's crap. So that is maybe his standard. Maybe under 21s is his standard. So maybe championship at best is his standard at the moment. Like for me, I think he's got to go out on loan. Like I don't know if we can still do it to Turkey because we've just signed him. But that for me is something.
I think they've shut the window 2 days ago, if I'm not wrong. On the 12th,
it's just a wasted body then for me. For that sort of money, it's just a wasted body.
Do you know the funny thing is, and again, I'm quite lucky. I've got, I say, hindsight in I've worked for football clubs within youth football, and what you learn very quickly is when you go into a club and you go, right, who's the that 15-year-old? Yeah, this is the. Do you know what I mean? This 15-year-old kid, and you watch them and go, God, you're bloody good. And got to remember, when you're watching those players at 15, 16, they're playing against 15, 16-year-olds. So you might stand out at your age group. The jump from that to senior Premier League, Champions League football is massive. And this is what I've had this debate you've probably seen a million times with Lubo about Jamie Donnelly. Let's use him, for example. Jamie Donnelly last year. Oh my God, Jamie Donnelly. Oh, look at him on loan in League One, Leyton Orient. Oh, he's amazing. He's like Gaza. Oh, look at him. You're in League One.
Yeah.
For me, now go to the Championship, do it there. Then when you've done it there, we turn around and go, right, can you now do it in the Premier League? And the biggest example of this was Ollie Skipp. You remember Oliver Skipp went on loan to Norwich in the Championship and was actually the Championship player of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Gets into the Premier League and we're all going, cool, you're not good enough. And that shows you can be the best player in this league. You come into this league, it's a different ball game, mate, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly that. And I think a lot of the fans have to realise that there's, I mean, it's probably in every fan group, but I just seem to feel that every kiddie is the next best thing. And I've seen nothing from them. For me, I know everyone was saying about Mikey Moore. He had 10 minutes against Elfsborg or whoever it was. And there was a tongue-in-cheek comment about Neymar. And it was like, well, this guy's the next best thing. I didn't see him do anything, if I'm being honest. I really didn't. So I think that Spurs fans, listen, we all want it to happen. I want it to be proven wrong. Him, Odegaard, Brennan Johnson, all of them. I want them to prove me wrong. I just can't see it.
Do you know that the thing for me that always gets me is it's this statement that people go, he's only insert age. He's only 90. He's only 20. You know, when you sit there and you think, but we're Tottenham Hotspur. This isn't a Sunday League team. We're not, no offense, we're not Preston North End and we can go, oh, look at this young kid. We can really develop and grow and sell on. We're Tottenham Hotspur. Once you pull on that shirt, you're a professional footballer. We're saying that you're one of the best 11 players in the country that can play for Tottenham. So I don't really do this whole thing. Now, if they're coming from the academy, I think there's a bit more leeway. academy player, give him a few minutes here, a few minutes there. Can he cut it? When Spurs are whacking out £40 million for the likes of Gray and the likes of Tell, suddenly their age doesn't mean anything. Their age doesn't mean anything to me. So maybe I'm harsh, but I just think everybody gets very, very carried away. And again, working in youth football, I've seen hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of kids who are all going to be the next thing. They end up at League One, League Two, Conference. So I just think people need to take a little bit of a chill pill for me with the young players.
I agree, mate. And my biggest stand on it is I think Xavi Simons signed for 51 million. Was it 51 million?
Yeah,
pound?
51 million.
So you're talking £10 million difference, and you've got a proper footballer and somebody that might come good in 4 years' time. Like, have a break. Like, come on, what are we doing here? 40 million for something that might come good in 4 years' time. Or what we should be doing is spending 50 millions on the nows, on the Kudoses and Simmons. I know a lot of people say that's not his fault. No, but when you're showing absolutely nothing, that is your fault. You know, Xavi's not old. I mean, I get the same with Papa Sarr. Yeah, but he's still young. He's 23. Like how old is young? Like for me, he's another one. He's old enough now to start taking responsibility for himself. And don't get me wrong, that dog that he is unbelievable. And there's a time and a place. So a 1-0 lead for me, you bring on Pape Sarr, it steals the game, but you can't be having that guy as your attacking number 10. He's just not good enough.
No, listen, I think it's an interesting conversation when talking about youth football. Is at what stage do they stop being classed as young footballers? I've still got people now going, oh, Brennan Johnson's young. And I'm like, hang on, isn't he 24, 25? Like, at what stage in a footballer's career, at what stage do you say, well, they're halfway through their career? Like at 25, you've been a pro footballer for what, 7 years now?
I would say between sort of 23 and 27 is your peak, really. I would say that is your kind of, when you start getting 28, people then start going, I mean, look at Maddison. Oh, he's a bit older now. Yeah, you know, it's like, okay. So 23 is still a kid. And Maddison, who's like 27, 28, is old. Okay.
Yeah, I just think it's interesting. So for me, look, I like proof. My mum always used to say to me about everything, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. And when I look at, let's use Donnelly and Ashley Phillips as the example. If we're going to talk about, do Donnelly and Phillips have a future at Tottenham Hotspur? Well, they're both out on loan at Stoke. Stoke are, I mean, they're flying at the moment. Stoke are second in the league, but Stoke are a top half, mid-table championship team. For me, you go to Stoke, and if you are that good that you should be being talked about to play for Tottenham Hotspur, go there, be the first name on the team sheet, play week in, week out, and you want to get to the stage where all the Stoke fans are saying, "Oh, we'd love to sign this kid." Right? At the moment, those two can't get in the team. Right? Those two are not getting sub appearances. Right? So when people are telling me he's a great player, he needs time. And this is, you know, I'll have this debate again tonight on the Spurs 5 the other day when I was debating against the other four. The other four, it was them 4 v me. They're all going, 3 or 4 of these kids should have stayed to be coached by Frank. And I'm saying, well, hang on, these kids can't even get a game in the Championship. What on earth are we meant to do with them in the Premier League? You know, so I just think it needs to be, prove it in anything. Prove how good you are. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the thing is as well, for me personally, I didn't think Ollie Skip was as bad as he was. I think that he was very misguided. I think the fact that we kept him for so long is probably the reason that he failed so bad. I think that after he become player of the season in the Championship, if he would have gone back to Norwich again, because I think that was the year they come up, if I'm not wrong. If he would have gone back to Norwich again, he would have been the main man. He would have had that another season of going. But in my opinion, the fans are like, no, bring them back. Look what they've done there. Bring them back. They come back, don't get on the pitch for 3-4 seasons. They're sold for nothing. Whereas if we would have loaned him back to Norwich, they come up and he was their best player. You can go, right, okay, not good enough for us. There's £30 million, £40 million player there, like Chelsea do continuously. So for me, I don't buy this whole Vuskovic has got to stay. Dorrington's got to stay. They need to go out and play to develop. Then being coached by Frank is great. Yeah, it's a luxury. But for me, you learn. It's the same as anything. Your job, my job. I did 10 years worth of training through British Gas. I knew nothing until I went out on my own, and you don't have that safety net of, oh, can you help me? Once you have that, that's when you learn, because you have to find out for yourself. Same with players. Once they're training and they're going, oh, what do I do here? What do I do there? They can be coached. When they're on their pitches where they learn their own craft and whether they're good enough. So for me, all of these players need to go out and learn their craft and prove it before you get a trip. Like, look, I'm not one of these ones that go, Tottenham Hotspur are massive, they're way up here. But at the same time, you've got to earn your spot. You can't just come in and think, yeah, well, he looks good. Mikey Moore deserves to start because he looks good, or his name's Mikey Moore. No, go out and earn your point. 2 years, like even at Rangers, you ain't doing nothing. Go out and shine at Rangers and go, right, I'm ready for the Prem now. Go out and shine at a Sunderland or someone at the bottom or just coming up. Then you go, oh, there's a player here. But it's not. It's almost like, well, he had a good season in League Two. Like, let's bring him in for the first team of Tottenham Hotspur away at Villarreal in the Champions League. That makes sense.
No, mate, absolutely. And I listen, I like the conversation about youth football because it is very important and you do need players to come through. But Spurs, for me, we were having a conversation in a WhatsApp group yesterday as to how many of these youngsters will get over 100 appearances for Tottenham, right? And the three that we all agreed probably were Bergvall, who's already on 50, Sarr, who's probably already done it, and probably Udogie. And what we noticed there was, well, they're the three that we bought. Right? They're the youngsters that we bought. So if these youngsters, maybe Vuskovic, again, everyone's raved about Vuskovic without really having ever got a real good sample size to judge him. But this is the problem. Spurs have bought a lot of young players that are actually playing in front of the young players from our academy. Then people are complaining, oh, how comes the young players in the academy aren't getting games? Well, hang on. You all want Sarr. You all want to rave about Bergvall. People want to rave about Gray. You want to rave about Vuskovic. Cool. I've got no problem with that. Do it. But then you can't have those young players plus 5 or 6 young players coming through the academy. Otherwise, you've now got a squad where half your senior squad is children. So I think people have to realize this is cutthroat. This is cutthroat. And I'll ask you a question. Perchie asked me this yesterday. Really, really good question, actually. And I couldn't really think. I'll ask everyone in the chat. Other than Ollie Skip, who was probably maybe 6 years ago now, he went out on loan to Norwich. I don't know, probably 5-6 years ago. Since then, James, can you name a player that's gone out on loan from Tottenham and come back and played in the first team regularly? Since Ollie Skip. There you go. Everyone in the chat, since Ollie Skip, who played, hang on, let's have a look. How many games? Here we go. Oliver Skip. Let's see how many games do you think Oliver Skip played for Tottenham in all competitions?
65.
Ollie Skip played 106 games minus 3 that were for the under 23s. He played 103 games in all competitions for Tottenham, Ollie Skip, right? And he was out on loan at Norwich in 2020. So 5-6 years ago, right? Since then, can anyone name anyone that's been out on loan? Not Spence, guys. I'm talking about academy. I'm talking about academy, guys. Not Spence. We bought Jed Spence. Academy.
No, not from us. No, to be honest,
Right.
I.
And what does that show you, right? It shows you that so few make it. This isn't just Spurs. Look at Arsenal. How many of Arsenal loaned out that are now making it in the first team? If you actually look at the Arsenal kids that have made it recently, Lewis Skelly, I don't remember him being loaned out. I remember him going straight in. Right? Ethan Waneri, I don't remember him being loaned out straight in. Bukayo Saka, I don't think he was loaned out. Right? You can even go as far as who's the one that signed for Fulham? Smith Rowe, right?
Good player.
You look at how many of these players are actually going out on loan, then coming back and going, right, you've had your year at Orient. Go on, son. Line up against Man City.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen.
For me, I think I mean, look, you've just named 4, 5, 6 players there that are in the Arsenal team that have come through the youth development. The biggest problem for me is we have none. We have none. So what are they basing? Yeah, but this group is the next best group. Based on what? The fact that they're better than the crap that we had before. Just because they're better than the crap we had before, don't mean that they're ready for first team at Tottenham Hotspur.
Mm. And for me, it's look, from hearing people at the club talk, and Stel will tell us as well. Stel knows the academy director. The age group that they rave about is the age group now, which is the likes of Williams, Barnett, Thompson, that age group. Now, Williams, Barnett, listen, I've seen him play 3 or 4 times. He looks class. However, I'll stay by my own standards. He looks class at that age. And he's actually playing 2 years above his station. But it's a huge difference between going, oh my God, this 16-year-old is absolutely amazing, to, oh, he's 18, he's naturally wandered into the first team. So I find it all very intriguing. And I think a lot of it is the romanticism, James. A lot of it is fans saying, oh my God, he's one of our own. Because everyone thinks that the next youth player is Harry Kane. So Troy Parrott, here you go. Let me give you a list of names. Every single one of these names got something in common, right? Troy Parrott, Dane Scarlett, Judson Sotbell, Will Lancashire, right? All of these players, at one point, whenever someone said, I don't think they're ready, you get, well, we all said that about Kane. And it's always brought back to Kane. And Kane is the best and worst thing that happens to this academy. Because 1, he's the best thing because he turned into Harry Kane. But 2, everyone now thinks that people will have the same path as Kane, who didn't tear up trees on loan, wasn't amazing, and then turned amazing. That's just my theory on it.
No, I agree. And I think the thing is, I think Harry Kane's an anomaly because there was no like blistering pace, there was no skills, there was nothing that you'd kind of go, "Oh, look at this guy in the youth, like he's unbelievable." But he almost like grew into his body and just become like a deadly finisher. Like you could see that the guy was just relentless. So for me, I put that down to a lot of sort of like hard work rather than that's not fair, but I put a lot of it down to like hard work rather than like God's talent from the age of 7 up, if that makes sense. You know, like you get these youth players that can skin 6, 7 players like it's nothing. He was more of a, you know, making the two comparisons. Messi for me is naturally gifted. Ronaldo was trained. Like they're the sort of players I'm on about. Whereas these guys that are coming through, I just don't see it. I just don't. For me, I just want to see 1 or 2 things to go. Okay, here we go. I don't see it until I don't see it until maybe if Odegaard could find out his end product, then maybe there could be something there. Because I do see him on the ball and go, "Coy, you've got a bit of a skill here. You've got a touch." But it's everything else from him for me. So, but again, for me, I'm in that bracket of maybe. Like maybe there could be a player in, but I definitely ain't on the edge going, he's going to be the next. That's the next guy about it. Based on what?
Well, when you look at young players, let's look at a few players from across the country. When I look at Nico O'Reilly and Rico Lewis, who have come through the youth academy in the last few years at Man City, you can see, like when they're on the ball, you can see and you go, yeah, you look a player. Doesn't mean I think they're the greatest player, but yeah, you could play Premier League football. Look at Declan Rice when he came through at West Ham. From about the age of 18, Declan Rice walked into that first team and automatically you went, oh, he can play. He literally was like, I'm the main man and I'm 18 years of age, centre back, centre mid. You look at Chelsea, when Chelsea have brought through players, Conor Gallagher, Mason Mount when he came through. I mean, we could go Guehi, all of these players. You automatically went, yeah. I've not looked at any of the Spurs youngsters I've seen in the last 2-3 years when they've made sub appearances or 90 minutes here, 90 minutes there. I've not watched any of them and gone, wow. Like even Mikey Moore, everyone tells me this boy is a genius. I watch him and go, you're not ready. And that doesn't mean I think he's shit, James. I just don't think he's
absolutely. For me, every player that you've just said there, you know what I like about them is every single one of them says, I'm the main man, or I'm going to do this. Watch me and my game. Whereas I feel, my opinion, sorry, Lubo, Archie Gray goes missing. He's that CDM role where he should say, right, give me the ball, I'll turn and pass. He hasn't got to do a lot, but it's that showing, being ready, give me the ball, I'm here, I'm okay to play. He doesn't. Tell that game in the weekends, mate, I had so many people go, well, this is his pro. He's been dropped from the Champions League squad. You're going to see the best of Tell. The guy went missing. He didn't want the ball. He didn't make any runs. He did nothing. So for me, again, he deserves nothing. Like that, every player that you've said there are like, right, I'm good enough here. I'm playing here. Whereas out of the players that we're mentioning, it's almost like they're just not. They haven't got that. They haven't got that grit
That je ne sais quoi. It's that.
Yeah, they haven't got that.
Like
Yeah.
when Michael Owen burst onto the scene and everyone went, cool. Wayne Rooney, you go, oh wow, look, this kid's. Have you seen that kid over there? Have you seen that kid over there? Joe Cole, Michael Carrick, Rio Ferdinand. When these people came through, we went, cool, these boys can play. Ledley, when Ledley came through our academy, you were straight away like, yep,
Solid.
Yep, you're
yeah.
And I think the biggest example, I think might be a tad older than you, James. How old are you?
Definitely.
How old are you?
35.
Oh god, yeah. So when I was younger, God, I must have been. God, I think Jermaine Defoe's the same age as me. Yeah, I think he's the same age as me. So when I was just coming out of school, going into college, I remember going through the school years. We all heard about these two boys that played for West Ham. We all heard across London schools football. These two boys played for West Ham. You had Jermaine Defoe and you had Joe Cole. And everyone was, oh my God, this kid Defoe, God, he's a goal scorer. He banged in 12 the other week for West Ham and like the youth team and that. And I remember that Jermaine Defoe at the age of 17 was sent on loan from West Ham to Bournemouth. And at the age of 17, scrawny little kid, he went to Bournemouth, went straight into the 11 at 17 and broke goal scoring records in that division. Right. So straight away, it was like, God, this boy, he went straight back to West Ham and he was in the first team. That's what I need to see from some of these youth players. I want to see Lancashire banging 25, 30 goals in the championship for Oxford. Do you know what I mean? Show me what you're made of. Just don't think we get that.
Again, though, for me, one of my favourite strikers of all time is Defoe. Not saying that he's the best, but it's that, again, I'm going to link it back to the arrogance. It's like, give me the ball, I'm taking one touch and I'm hitting it. If it goes over, it goes over. I'll do it again and again and again. And you're like, okay. And there was games where he'd put 4 or 5 over the bar and he wouldn't score. But then you knew for the next 3 games, he's going to get a goal, 2 goals, 3 goals. And he was relentless. It is that, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm good at. I mean, I'm lucky enough that my lads in the academy, and it's the same with them. What they say is, look, that's your bread and butter. Don't try and fit in with everybody else. What you do, you're good at. Do that. Don't keep trying. I think like now, the modern day football's got to be able to tackle. It's got to be able to track. It's got to be able to do this, do that. And it's like, hold on. What are you good at? Right. Well, if you can get that one trait good, for me, Haaland's not the greatest footballer. But if you give him that ball, he's going to score a goal. It doesn't matter how it is, he's going to score a goal. So
he's on Sky Sports right now, tucking it away. Yeah.
So if you're that good at that one thing, why try coaching being better at everything else? He's like, I don't care, I'll score. Every week, miss 3 chances. Next week, scores an hat-trick. So for me, do what you're best at. And like we said, I don't see that arrogance in Tell, which was the main reason we kind of went through this. I see, okay, he speaks to the fans afterwards when he's had a crap game. All right, but during that game, he's all well and good standing there, basically with his hands in his pocket doing nothing. So for me, that's how I determine a good player. If they've got that grit and that I'm going to win this game. Even if they can't, I'm going to win this game.
I think the key thing for me is here, if we bring this full circle, good conversation, by the way, if we bring this full circle to Tell, I said it before the game the other day. Look, do I rate him? No, I don't. But what I said was before the game, what a wonderful opportunity he's got here. You got Solanke out injured. You got Richarlison, who's jet lagged from coming back from South America, playing for Brazil. And you got Mawani, who's not match fit. You're thinking to yourself, what a wonderful opportunity. And you don't have to have the greatest game, but show us a few bits in the game where you go, oh, I like that. You know, there were times where I mean, I think there was one part in the set, in one point in the second half where Xavi Simons played a through ball to him, and he was in front of the defender, and you're thinking, mate, get there first, get that touch away, and just unleash your shot. If it goes in, great. If not, get your shot away. Show us that there's some dynamism.
Yeah.
2 yards later, the defender's gobbled him up, and I'm thinking, come on, man, like, where's that fight? Where's that energy? You know, whenever he got the ball, he couldn't hold it up. And we talk about confidence, but this is a guy that played for Bayern Munich, right? This is a guy that got a move to Bayern Munich. Show us something. Show me something. It doesn't have to be 3 goals a game.
Absolutely, yeah.
Just show me something.
And even linking him, almost came full circle again, linking him to the likes of Harry Kane. When he got that chance against Villa, he took it. When he got that game, the following game, he took it. So it's all well and good comparing these to these players. Like I said, if he's whatever he's good at, I haven't seen anything. You've got to, when you get half a chance, take it. What happened to, I remember people were saying Defoe's not good enough, we'll play Defoe and Kane. And I'm like, mate, when he gets that chance to step on that pitch, he would score. Every time, like, no, I'm not the sub. Watch, bang, top corner, and you're like, okay. These guys now, I don't know. I just don't see it very often where they're hungry to actually score or make a difference. It's almost like, oh, trust the process. Well, hold on. Your job's to score a goal. Yeah, but trust the process. It's like, all right. Somebody going to sell somebody a boiler, go, yeah, don't worry, I'll be finished in 6 years. Trust the process. It's going to be great when it's done. No, I've paid for something. Do it.
See, like when I'm seeing people talk about Lancashire, because Lancashire scored a couple of goals for Oxford. And I genuinely think, not you, Martin, by the way. Sorry, just I'm saying, like Rodney said, I like Lanky personally. I watch Lancashire. I don't look at that and go, yeah, you can lead the line for a Premier League club. I look at Lancashire and go, yeah, you're decent. You're decent. You're okay. But I look at him and think, Oxford. And that may sound really harsh, and he may have a higher career than that.
Is it fair to say, though, the things that we're looking for in a player he's producing, even if it is at Oxford, it's like, okay, well, you've done the first step, now move on to step 2, which could be a Norwich. All right, you've done the second step, then move on to the next step. So we've got to give credit where credit's due, but at the same time, I like the look of Lancashire, his goal scoring ability, but Oxford and Tottenham Hotspur, we're about to play in the Champions League against Villarreal. There's a big difference.
Look, absolutely. By the way, listen, I think he's got 3 and 5 at Oxford. Good. Keep going. Keep scoring goals.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's not just about scoring the goals, though. You've got to, and this is where I think people have got to realise, if you are a striker that gets 25, 30 goals, I'm not saying him. If you're a striker that gets 25, 30 goals in the Championship, you can automatically make that into a third when you come to the Premier League. You're not getting as many chances in the Premier League. So now you're saying, okay, right, when you're not putting the ball in the net, what are you doing? What are you offering? Can you outmuscle defenders? Can you give them a hard time? Can you run the channels? Can you hold the ball up? What's your link-up play like? It's all of these different things that I think people don't realise the drop-off between the Championship and the Premier League. It is huge. It is absolutely huge. So listen, I'm like the rest of the people. I'm a romantic with these things. I would love Will Lancashire, for example, banging 25 goals at Oxford, build up your strength, sort out your hold-up game, and then next season we see you in the Spurs team. But it's a big ask. It's a big ask because you've got what you would then need. Let's look at it from the other side of things, James. For that to happen, what we would then be saying is, okay, so next summer, Lancashire's had a great year. You're then looking at a manager that turns around and goes, you know what? I've got my main striker. Lancashire's going to be my number 2. Now, that's a big risk for a manager because then if it doesn't work out, you're left with not a lot of striker depth. So this is a big risk if a manager doesn't believe that they're quite ready. And I'll ask you this. How many strikers in the Premier League can anyone name you who's come through their youth team? Anyone who's playing regularly now and scoring goals that has come through that club's youth team? Anybody?
I wouldn't know.
No one at Palace. You got Mateta at Palace. You got Rodrigo Muniz and whoever at and Jimenez at Fulham. Chelsea have just bought Delap and Pedro. Man City have got Erling Haaland. Arsenal have got Gyökeres. Like there's. I don't know if can anyone name one? There you go. I'm not saying there isn't. Can anyone name one that's playing for, I don't know, Villa, Wolves, City, Leeds, Forest, anyone? Anyone name me one top striker who plays in the Premier League and came through that academy? But look, let's look forward. Let's look forward to tomorrow. Do you expect to win against Villarreal tomorrow night? Are you?
I don't expect to win, but I think we should win. Yeah.
Hang on, sorry, just quickly, James. Sorry, hang on. Look, no, Lord Rodney, don't do this. Don't do it. It's not about backing. I don't like this. I don't like it when people say, "Who are you going to back?" Then it's not about backing. They're either going to be good enough or not, Lord Rodney. They're either going to be good enough or not. This whole just back this person. I learned a long time ago, right? Optimism doesn't mean anything. Now, I know that sounds terrible. Optimism doesn't mean anything. You can be hopeful, and hopeful sits in between optimism and pessimism, right? But you can be optimistic for something to happen that will never likely happen. That doesn't make you a better person. That doesn't mean you're more of a positive person than me. Sometimes it actually means people are more deluded. So for me, I'm hopeful some of these youngsters will make it. As of yet, what I've seen, none of them I go, cool, you're going to have a great career at Spurs. So
I might be a bit on the negative side when it comes to the academy, but I actually don't think an academy is there to produce players for the first team. I think that's a bonus. I think if we get someone for the first team, I think that's a bonus. I actually think academy nowadays is to make money. So I think you get a hot prospect come through, you sell them for 3-4 million. That pays for that year's academy, onto the next, onto the next, onto the next, onto the next. So for me, listen, the fairy tale is that who doesn't want 11 players from their academy coming in and winning the league? Like, that's the fairy tale. But for me, I think that it is more of a money making scheme rather than actually they're going to kind of produce and play for us.
But as I said to you, James, how many comments are you seeing now where straight away look at the benchmark? Look at the benchmark. Anyone has out on loan, but Kane did this, but Kane did that. Kane is an anomaly. How many Harry Kanes come through in a lifetime? You know?
But it was the same with Marcus Edwards and Lionel Messi. Yeah, but Poch said it. Well, how did that work out? You know what I mean?
There's no one in the Premier League. There's no, honestly, I've asked the question. I haven't seen one answer. There is not one. Here you go. I'll tell you what, sorry. Hang on. Let's have a look. I'm going to have a look at this, at the Premier League table, James. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'll happily be wrong. Arsenal. Nope. Tottenham. Nope. Liverpool. Nope. Bournemouth. Nope. They've got, Evan Nilsson up front and Semenyo and those guys. Chelsea, nope. Everton, nope. They've got what? Tierney, Barry, and Beto. Sunderland, nope. They've got what's his name up front? Is it Nisdor or Nasdor? I can't remember his name. Isidore, whatever his name is. Palace, nope.
No. Newcastle just bought one.
Nope. Fulham, nope. Man United, nope. Absolutely not. Brentford. Nope. Brighton. Nope. They got Evan Ferguson. They let go. Forest. Nope. They bought loads. Leeds United haven't got anyone from the academy up front. Man City haven't. Burnley. Nope. West Ham. Nope. They've got Wilson and who's there? Wilson and Fulkrog. Villa. No. Wolves. No. So what we're saying here, right, is essentially, James, what I'm saying here is this isn't just a Spurs problem. It shows the levels that not one Premier League club has a striker up front that has come through their academy and gone, I'm the main man. What does that tell you?
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly what we're saying. But it's the hopes that kill people. And listen, fair play to them. Good luck to you. But it's not worth it.
I completely agree with you.
And the thing that I don't get, right? The thing that I don't get is people are saying, like, the Tells, the Greys. If they were talking about Bergval like that, I would get it because I've seen stuff from Bergval. I think he's a bit of a headless chicken, but I've seen a lot there to go. There's a player in there for a 19-year-old kid or however old he is. The finish of the weekend, you go very mature, good finish, well done.
Yeah.
What are we seeing from Tells? What are we seeing from Odebergs? What are we seeing from Greys or whoever to go player? Like I'm happy to have that debate with Bergvall because I've seen it. I don't think he's as good as people make it out, but there's something there to go. Okay, he's going to be a good player. I just think that sometimes people get carried away for stuff they shouldn't be getting carried away for.
No, I completely agree. I mean, somebody just sent me a list here and said, the attackers, not strikers, promoted from the academy that play regularly will be Bukayo Saka, Oscar Bob, Phil Foden, Solly March. But not one of them's a number 9. Like there's no like, when Fowler came through at Liverpool, when Owen came through, when Kane came through, there's none of these coming through anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I might be wrong, but I just don't think they are. Sean would like to know if they are bricks in the background or wallpaper.
Wallpaper. Did it myself.
What you can wallpaper and do plumbing?
Yeah, I wouldn't say I can wallpaper, no, but it was a I do it myself. I'll stick to plumbing, mate.
I'll tell you what, wallpapering. I remember I used to hate it. Getting out the old the wallpaper table. Remember that little pasting table? Oh my gosh, I hated it. And you had to level it up. Oh God, no.
But for me, it's painting. I will never lift up a paintbrush ever again in my life. I can't stand it. That's the reason why all painting. Sorry if there's any painting or decorators in here, but if there is any painting or decorators, there's a reason they're all nuts.
Yeah. So, but by the way, guys, listen, I wasn't using that conversation about strikers to knock Spurs. I was just making the point that it's bloody difficult. It's you're asking for 20 young players, one from each Premier League team, that turns around in teams that play one up front and says, you know what? Don't go and buy that 50, 60 million pound striker. I'm your guy. I'm ready. And it's a big ask. It's a big ask. You might get a Rooney who comes through every now and then, a Fowler, a Defoe, a Kane. But realistically, it's not happening, people. And it is what it is. It is what it is. And Tammy Abraham for a little bit. Yeah, Tammy Abraham came in, played a bit of Chelsea, never really became the main man. Good career. Ellie, don't get me wrong. There's loads of these youngsters that will come through and have good football careers, but it's just very difficult to make yourself the main man, even at centre half. If we apply that logic, James, to centre backs, again, across the Premier League, can anyone, there's probably going to be more because you have 2. Which clubs in the Premier League have got a centre back that's come through their youth academy? Can anyone name one? I don't know the answer, by the way, but can anyone? Can anyone give me the answers? It's really tough. It's and this is why there's a lot of football centres and development centres that are set up now, James, for players after they leave academies, because it's tough. Because everyone grows up going, I'm going to be the anomaly. I'm going to be the one that breaks through. Hardly any of them ever do anywhere in the country. They then need to go somewhere again to go again. So,
agreed.
It's a tough one. See, Guaity, but I'm talking about Dean. I'm talking about someone who plays at the club they came through. I.e., if Dorrington played centre half for Tottenham. You know what I mean? I genuinely can't think off the top of my head of anyone that's doing it. Arsenal, all 4 of Arsenal's have been bought, right? Mosquera, Saliba, Gabriel, and Hincapi. Look at Spurs. Danso, Dragashin, Romero, Van de Ven.
Did he come through Everton, Braithwaite? Or was he bought? I don't know.
Let's have a look. Jared Branthwaite. Let's have a look. So Jared Branthwaite was club career. Branthwaite started his career with Carlisle United's youth system and signed it. Branthwaite started the season with 13. Yeah, no, he was so Branthwaite bought from Carlisle. Yeah, he's on a 2.5-year contract. But I mean, I'll give you Branthwaite. I'll give you Branthwaite. But there's not many, is there?
No, I don't know any others. The only one I was going to say is Konza. Was Konza through Liverpool? Was he through their youth? But he's not starting week in, week out. Gomez. But yeah.
Tough one, isn't it? Levi Colwill. Okay. So Levi Colwill. Okay, I'll give you Levi Colwill, Hobbers. But it's a good game to play, isn't it? When you actually rack your brain, you could do this with goalkeepers. You could do this with a lot of positions on the pitch and go, right, who's come through at an academy, level, and is now the main man in that team, in that position. And there's not many at all in the Premier League. Connor Bradley at right back. I mean, yeah, I'll give you that, even though he's not made himself number one, but Connor Bradley's one. Chalobah. Did Chalobah come through at Chelsea? Did he? Yeah, Chalobah. Okay. Obviously Ledley King those years ago, but I think it's showing it's harder and harder and harder to make that happen. Trent was definitely one that came through, and made himself a first team regular, but it's very, very difficult. It's very, very difficult. And yes, he did. Joe Gomez did come through at Charlton Athletic down the road. So yeah, it's very, very tough. Reece James is another one. But again, players like Reece James are exceptional, right? Reece James is a top footballer, and not many that come out the academy are that level. James, let's move on. I want to talk about Thomas Frank for the last 15 minutes. I'm only going until 12 till I've got another show at 2:30. What have you made of Thomas Frank's start? Four league games, the Super Cup, and then we've got Villarreal tomorrow night. What have you made of his start and his tactical setup and the defence and yada, yada?
Mixed, to be honest. Listen, I judge Frank for what I see Frank do. I'm not one of these that jump on the bandwagon for him or against him. I thought the Bournemouth game, he got it wrong. I almost thought for the only thing, I'm not against it, but I feel like we're more focusing on like the set pieces than we are the build-up play. Or is it the fact that you don't have the players to do the build-up play? I'm not sure. But I was expecting a little bit more, maybe. But I suppose I've got to wait, give it more than 4, 5, 6 weeks with the players that he's got. To fully judge it, but I'd say he's done well with what he's got so far. He's done well. He's made mistakes. He's owned them mistakes, and he's moved forward.
Yeah. I agree. I see from my point of view, what I think he's doing is I think he's come in and sorting us out as a team first and foremost. I think he's come out. He's sorted out that back four. I now don't shit myself every time somebody goes forward against us.
Agree.
I think he's building from the back like most managers do. And I think that the last thing that we'll see that will be really good will be the forward play. I still don't think he's got the forwards that he wants.
Yeah.
I still don't think he's had at any point he's had his favoured 3 or 4 forwards to put in the team at the same time. But I'm just so grateful, James, that we've got a coach. I'm so grateful that we've got someone that's adapting every game and changing and not afraid to leave players out. And I don't know, I just feel, I don't know if this makes sense. I feel at ease this season.
Yeah.
I've not felt like that for years.
Well, I said, listen, everyone knows what I think about Vicario. I think that he was made a massive scapegoat last season because of he can't pass the ball. He can't blah, blah, blah. Well, his pass success rate this season's been one of the best. And his shot per save ratio is also one of the best. And now we've got a defensive structure in front of him. Ain't it funny how we kept like 3 clean sheets or 6 clean sheets all last season? And yet now we've already got 3 out of 4. This is why, for me, I said the back line, Vicario, I'm not going to judge them under Ange because they were hung to dry. How can you say, like, right, yeah, you're not very good when they're asked to play up front and they're centre-backs? For me, I think you're going to see the whole. It wouldn't surprise me if we get 15, 16 clean sheets this season. It really wouldn't. I think that's the sort of style that we're going to go for. Like you said, I think the magic dust is going to be sprinkled next season, which is what I've said, by the way. I've said I now think that we've got the squad that people were saying about 2 years ago, where they're going, yeah, but look at all these players. I now think we've got that base where it's like, right, we need a left winger and a striker. You go out and spend 60, 70 million on each, you then have a proper football team. So I feel like it's going to take time. Rome wasn't built in a day. Let's see where it goes. I like what I see. I would have liked to have seen a bit more attacking wise. But I do like the fact that every opportunity we're getting, we're trying to make the most of, i.e. corners, free kicks, throw-ins. They're all attributes to score goals, and we're trying to score goals from all of them.
Scorers in the league, so it's not too bad.
No, I do agree with that. But like, if you look, I mean, I don't know what you think. I think most of our threat comes from set pieces.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of that, though, if you look, I think so far we haven't really had an option to play a playmaker. And I do feel that I think that will change. Once Mwani's fit, once we get Simmons a bit more centrally, once you get... I want to see the Simmons-Kudus link-up with Kudus on the right and Simmons in the middle. I think once we see that, I think we'll get a lot better. But look... I think it's great. We've got the best defence in the league at the moment, along with who else has conceded one goal? So Palace.
Oh, is it? Oh, no, Arsenal.
Yeah, Palace and Arsenal and Spurs have all conceded one goal. We know how well drilled Palace are. We know how well drilled they are. We know Arsenal's defence is, let's be fair, Arsenal's defence is
in the league.
Yeah, so
well, even their fullbacks are centre backs, aren't they? They've gone for a solid back four. Like, they're not messing around when it comes to defence. They're there. 4 defenders.
Yeah, mate, they're powerful. And you can see that Arteta's worked on that for years with them. But look, I just feel comfortable.
Can I ask you then, like for example, everybody we've got now is fit, barring Kulu and Maddison, because obviously they're a lot longer. Who is the front 4, if you like? Who are you going to say, right, that's my preferred left winger, that's my preferred strike? What is your favourite front 4?
It depends. If we're saying Kolo Muani's fit, and I'm not convinced he's 100% fit because he's not played for months. Let's assume he is. What I want to see, I've said this for ages, right? I'm going to show you something. I want to see this. Here you go. I can bring this onto the screen, actually. I want to see this. Now, ignore Richarlison for the moment. Ignore Richarlison. I want to see something like that. Now, Bergvall could be Bentancur or Sarr, depending on the team we're playing. Not bothered about that. We're worried about the front 4. I want to see Kudus right, Simmons in the middle, and Mwani up front. And I've openly said, James, you've seen my shows. I've said on the left side, I genuinely don't think it matters too much because none of our left-sided players are actually that good. None of them are actual left wingers. So I think there'll be games where you think, okay, chuck Richarlison out there because he'll offer you that kind of target man on the left who can hustle and bustle. Other games, maybe an Odegaard, who's a bit more of a direct runner, wants to run at people. Other games, maybe Johnson, because we know that, all right, he's not going to beat a man, but we know he can drift into the box and score. I've said it all summer. People are bored of hearing me talk about it. This was my big issue with not signing a left-sided player. And people now use against me, James, oh, but you wanted Son to go. Yes, but I never said we shouldn't replace him.
Yeah, you know this is what I said. Yeah, that's exactly what I said. Yeah. People slate you for Son leaving, but then when you sign Kudus, they go, Kai, he's a good player. It's like, well, I've been telling you this for ages, but you just choose not to listen. Yeah. So tomorrow night, would you go Richarlison left wing then? I personally think Richarlison's best position is out on the left. I think he's done more out on the left than he is in up front.
Yeah,
and I dare say it. I may even say he's probably our best left winger, and that ain't judging him at anything other than he's probably the best of the rest. So if it's not going to be the 2 things I want to see, 1 or 2 is you play Odegaard every single week and kind of say, right, this is our guy. He's the young lad coming through. Give him every single game, week in, week out. Or you play Richarlison and then you bring him on for the last 10 minutes to see what he can do. That is my two outlooks at it.
Yeah, I think it's difficult. As I said so many times, James, there's no one I particularly fancy on the left. So I think every game I'm going to predict a 10 and then just go on, Frank, whoever you think should go on the left wing. Look, I think what we're going to see is over the next, at least until January, I think we're going to see a mixture of Richarlison having some time there, maybe Muani having some time there, Odegaard, Johnson. And that is the real shame for me. The real shame for me is right now, and I keep using this guy as an example. Right now, if you add a Savva or a Matoma, we're all sitting here right now. Tell me if I'm wrong. If we had Matoma at the club, and I said to you, what's your front four, right? You're telling me the same. I don't care what you say here. This is the truth, right? I'm going to predict you and me. You're turning around and going, yeah, I want to see Kudus on the right, Simmons in the middle, Matoma on the left, Muani up front. Right? That's the front four? I think 90% of Spurs fans will go, yeah. Now, you might have some that go, oh, I prefer Richie to Muani. But straight away, you'll go in Matoma, Simmons, Kudus. There's no other answer every game. All right, you rotate a bit, but that's your free. Right now, I think it's a real shame that we haven't got that. And unfortunately, what you're going to see is people rotating out there. Simmons in some games will be used out on the left, which I think is a shame because you want his trickery and his passing in the middle.
For that, I agree. I do agree. But what I would say is I would have Simmons on the left if you was going to play Danso almost right back and you was going to have Udogie running that left-hand side. So Simmons is almost on the left, but he's kind of going to be a 4, inside. But he's going to shift in a little bit because I think what he does do really well, and a lot of his goals and contributions, he kind of starts left, but he then comes inside and draws everybody in, which again could be a massive positive if you've got that guy running down the line.
Okay, so something like this. So you got a bit more of that. Hang on, let me bring this up on screen. Something like this. So you've got Udogie, who's a bit more. Hang on, let me. You said someone like a Danso, right? So
or no, Spence actually. Put Spence. Spence is the perfect guy because he's good at defensively.
Okay, so Jed Spence. So we're talking about a little bit more tucking in like that
in game.
Yeah. So then when we've got the ball, you've got Udogie who's doing the overlapping, and then Simmons can go in there and create and then that allows Sarr to kind of float in and around.
Well, then there's no more excuses either about, well, Udogie's a wing back. Well, you've now given him the free role of being a wing back because you're going to have free kind of sit with Polina in front. So for me, I think that would work. Yeah, you almost play like 4 behind the striker, and one of them is going to be Udogie with the responsibilities of getting back.
Yeah. No. Listen, I completely agree with you. Listen, I think the problem with a player like Xavi Simmons is where he's so talented and can play different positions, people start moving around. What I want to see is we get to the point where we've actually got the guy that does play on the left, and you say, right, Xavi, you're the creator. I don't want to move you from this number 10 position because everything should go through him. And what we did see from Xavi Simmons in just he played 80 minutes the other day, 75, whatever it was. When he gets the ball, his first fault, his first fault is naturally picking it up here, and he's naturally going in that way, isn't he? Everything he did, he doesn't go there. He tries not to go there. He naturally comes into here and tries to link up. And that, for me, is the whole point of when we're talking about, oh, well, we got a James Maddison replacement. I don't want the James Maddison replacement having to play out wide left because we didn't buy a left winger. So it was the one black mark for me against the window. And I think it's a pretty big black mark, if we're going to be honest. I really do. But I want Xavi. I want Xavi Simmons to be the guy that we go, right, when we win the ball back in midfield, you're the outlet. always be in a pocket of space where you can pick up the
Yeah.
ball. I don't want him hugging the touchline.
I also think that if if I know this could sound stupid, or it might not, but if we signed Polinia and Moani permanently, I think I then have a lot of leeway. I'd say, you know what, fair enough. We didn't get a left winger. I'm not bothered. You've just spent 200 million on 4 proper players. But the fact that they come in on loan and we only spent 100 million, there is no excuse not to buy a left winger. If that makes sense, because I know they come in on loan anyway. But you've only outlaid what 80 million, 75 million, 80 million because of the sales of Son, Højbjerg. You know, so you're getting money in at the same time. So for me, if they would have signed all on permanent, I'd have gone, you know what? I only asked for us to sign 3 or 4 players every window, and you've done that. But there were 2 loans. It's almost like a loophole.
I completely agree with you. Yeah, the whole point of getting the loan moves. And listen, by the way, I'm a huge advocate of taking advantage of the loan market. But surely, when you take advantage of the loan market, what you're doing is kicking the can down the road. So what we're saying is, you know, Paulinho, we'll give it a year, see how it goes. So we either buy Paulinho in a year, put that money there, or we buy someone else. But that should allow that money that you didn't spend on the number 6 to be spent on the
Winger.
left winger. So for me, I think another option is I think if you've got the fullbacks, let's move Spence. Hang on, let's put Porro in there a second. If you've got, I think in games where we're going to have a lot more of the football against lesser teams, I mean, what you can almost do is Simmons and Kudus can both play in there. They don't have to be out wide. And it actually allows for Udogie and Porro to go and be the width with Paulinho dropping in.
Yeah, the only thing I think like that is I think you need to swap Bergvall or Sarr, preferably Sarr, for a James Maddison. Somebody that's just going to keep the ball. I think that we've got 2 guys there. Bergvall tries his best but loses it a lot. Sarr, guy loses the ball a hell of a lot. So for that to work for me, you need a Maddison to drop back. But good for future reference.
Mate, absolutely. I just think what I do think we've got now is I think we've got some technicians. So if you look there, if you were going to play that team, you've got Maddison, Simmons, and Kudus, who are all very, very comfortable on the football. And if you go back a couple of years, we had no one who was comfortable on a football other than Harry Kane. So, but look, we've got options. I just truly, truly wish we had signed that left winger. I talk about it a lot, and I'm sorry to all the people who watch me. I'm just so gutted because I truly thought got that left winger. I mean, imagine Matoma, Simmons, and Kudus when we're on transition. It just frightens me.
I think if we would have signed a left winger, dare I say it, guaranteed 5th. Like, yes. I would maybe guaranteed is the wrong word. If we didn't finish 5th, I would be looking at Frank and saying, hold on a minute. If we got that left winger, I would have gone Muani, left winger, insert whoever you wanted. I wanted Adeyemi, Xavi, Kudos. Jesus Christ. I'm going, right, okay. For me, the main thing in football is Kudos for the last 3 games, in my opinion, has done okay. And I don't think that he hasn't done anything. I don't think he could have done anything more. Reason being, he's marked by 2-3 men every day. That all stops the moment you add a left winger that can beat his man. You bring in a left winger, you're now like, right, the centre-back can't afford to go over and help because it will leave Adeyemi open with no man. So it kind of just frees up that space for him. Cool. Kudos will become a better player. Xavi will become a better player. Maddison, Adeyemi, whoever, Matoma, they all become better players because they're one-on-one now. They're marked.
Do you know the thing is as well about Kudos is this man offers so much more. And what I mean by that is nearly all of the corners that we tend to get tend to be through him beating a man trying to get crosses over. Him beating a man and someone coming over and making a recovery tackle on him and winning a corner. This plus his delivery of a football is brilliant. His delivery from corners is excellent. But you're right.
How many assists has he got this season? I think he's got 2. Richarlison both? Xavi got the one this weekend, didn't he?
Xavi got the one from the corner this weekend. Yeah,
So they're doing their bit, aren't they? They are.
Yeah.
That's what's frustrating. The better players are stepping up and doing their bit, which just proves one more better player, and you've got a squad.
But you're right. If you had this, just using your guy Adeyemi, imagine now Paulinho and Bergvall win that ball, and straight away they're giving it to Adeyemi and Kudus and Simmons. I mean, now you got Simmons going right. I've got Adeyemi running through the left. I've got Kudus running through the right, and I've got Kolo Muani making the runs down the channels. And what we're talking about here, James, is just one signing. Right? We're talking about one signing. So for me, this is the frustration for me. And I make you right. This is why this season I've predicted 6th. Now, when I predict 6th, it doesn't mean I don't think we can finish 5th. I think for us to finish 5th, though, I think we're going to need a lot to go our way with fitness, injuries. Depends what we do in January. But I look at this squad now and go 6th. I think if we had got that decent left winger, 5th stroke 4th. And that's how much importance I put on not signing that one player we needed. So
yeah, absolutely. And I'm the same. I agree. I'm not saying that we had the 3rd best or the 2nd best squad, but if we was to sign a proper left winger like that, I would say there's no real weaknesses in our squad if everybody was fit to go, right, you can't achieve that because you have a weak link. You can't achieve this because you have a weak link. Listen, the Premier League for me is the greatest league in the world. You cannot afford to go into a game with 10 men because you just get punished. So for me, that is the difference in, I'm not saying, right, maybe not everybody's 10 men, but the likes of Brennan Johnson for me is I went to the Bournemouth game. Look, I travelled 7 hours to go watch that absolute dross. And there was a moment where he stood there, called for the ball. Someone passed him the ball. He stood there. The defender kind of lightly jogged in front of him, took the ball and ran off. And you're like, oh, you're a professional footballer. Like, I think I've still got a chance. Like, it's embarrassing.
Let's be fair. The goals he grabs every now and then really do mask over how bad a footballer he is. And I learned a long time ago, there's a difference between being maybe a goal scorer and a footballer. But listen, I am going to leave it there because, guys, I'm back at 2:30 just for an hour Premier League rundown with Charlie Patrick from Blue Brother CFC. And then 6 p.m. I'm with Perchy, and then 8 p.m. on the Spurs 5. So we're going to leave it there. Listen, I will just quickly do a couple of super chats. Big up to a user who said, miss you, Levy. Love you. Bring our Tottenham back. Daniel Levy, all is forgiven. Just kidding. Just kidding. We'll see in the next window. How much of it was Levy? How much of it was not? Big up to you, a user. And you've come in again and said, I just love how Frank sets up as per opponent. Absolutely. If we don't know what Thomas Frank's going to do, our opposition don't know what he's going to do. And that was the problem with playing Spurs last year, the year before. Everyone knew what we were going to do. So listen, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you very much. As I said before, if you do want quality replica shirts, go to okjersey.com, either the website or scan the QR code and get your match bingo cards ready for tomorrow's Champions League games. It's a good laugh. It's only about a £5. You've got a chance to win 250 quid per match day card. So it's all good fun. Please get over to those guys. Let me know if you do and let me know how you get on. James, thank you very much. Really appreciate you, my man.
No worries, mate. Always a pleasure.
And we should probably redirect, shouldn't we? That's the nice thing to do. Here we go. Who's live? Are there any Spurs content creators live right now? Who we got? TalkSport are live. Troops, Mikes. I can't see any Spurs content creators live right now. I'm going to send you over to Charlie Patrick at Blue Brother. When you get there, just type in Savva Raid, show a bit of love, smash the like button. Every content creator's out there doing their own thing. So, guys, I'll see you back here at 2:30 just for a relaxed rundown on the Premier League. Talk about some other clubs as well. And back at 6 p.m. for the What Are We Doing Here podcast, where Perchy's going to tell you all about Villarreal. Much love. James, thank you. Take care. And as always, come on, you Spurs.